What is up, everybody? It is AJ. We are doing UFC Vegas 35. It is Barboza versus Chikadze. This is the weigh-in recap, final predictions, and some betting tips for you guys. I look forward to breaking this card down one last time. Smash that like button. Let's get at least 85 likes on this weigh-in recap show. Much love to all my people who are tuning in. If you're new here, subscribe too. We're covering all things MMA here at MMA Experts. But let's go to the bottom. Mana Martinez, Guido Cannetti. We do have a weight miss. Mana comes in at 140. Cannetti 135.5 on weight. Not a great look for Mana. Comes in bit over on the scale, but it is what it is. There was some bout reschedulations. I'll give him the benefit of the doubt here. He has a size advantage over Cannetti. It'll be evident now. Also, weight miss, which is going to give him a true size advantage besides just the height, is going to be a weight edge. Striking-wise, he does have the power. I feel like he could potentially get the finish here of Guido. Guido's a decent southpaw, but I don't think he brings enough to the table really to threaten Mana striking. I think Mana's going to KO him in the second round, but I don't like the weight miss. I'll still pick Mana Martinez KO TKO round number 2. Odds-wise, Cannetti plus 230, Leo Mana minus 245. There's some props out. Inside the distance, or fight doesn't go the distance, is actually minus 260. It's expected to end early here. Martinez wins inside the distance, minus 150. Let's see Martinez by KO TKO, minus 110 at best value. I think it's pretty likely he does that, but he's an unproven guy in the UFC, so no bet personally for me on him. If you want to maybe play a little something for Leo Mana Martinez, maybe a parlay, but as far as propping it, personally, not crazy about it, but should be a win for Leo Mana Martinez to start off the night. Let's keep moving up the card. Fight 2. Pat Sabatini versus Jamall Pretty Boy Emmers. I'm excited for this fight. Sabatini's a damn good grappler. Solid takedowns, heavy on top, and good pressure and ground and pound too. Look at Jamall Emmers, slick striker from the outside, good wrestling background. Should be able to fend off takedowns, use his reach advantage, kickbox from the mid-range. We'll pull him up on the scale though. There's Sabatini. And there is Jamall Emmers. Both guys in very good shape. Not a huge height differential, just slight reach in favor of Emmers. I do think Emmers wins this bout by a decision. I like Jamall Emmers. Decent price tag, minus 145 to plus 135. Sabatini, the dog there, with definitely a chance to bark for sure. He does have a tricky grappling game to deal with, but I think that Emmers is going to win here. Decision win for Emmers, plus 145. If Sabatini were to potentially get a win by decision, plus 285. I like Emmers. He should win. Win by decision. Second fight of the night. Let's keep on moving up the card. Third one. Aldrich and Vanessa Demopoulos. Okay, so women's fight here. Flyweight division. Demopoulos moving up from 115. She now faces a very forward pressure grappler in Aldrich. Demopoulos has decent Thai kickboxing style of striking. I think she's going to be put against the cage and potentially on the ground here. The size difference isn't huge, but there definitely is one. And I think that it should be decision win for Aldrich. Odds-wise, minus 360, plus 329. I'm on Team Aldrich here. I think she will win, but the odds are too widespread to really justify a bet. I'm not playing any of the props. Aldrich minus 160, maybe. Aldrich KO TKO would be plus 500. I mean, maybe you'd want to play that, but I'm not liking it. I'm not betting this fight. Skip the women's MMA bet, personally, especially when the odds are this widespread. We're sticking with just the male fights here, the bigger ones. I really like to bet more of the proven guys instead of the riskier females. Now, this is a good fight. I'm actually really excited to see this matchup play out. You have Darren the Dentist Stewart, dangerous striker, coming up from middleweight. He's actually fought his last two at light heavy. And then you have Dustin Jacoby, who's coming off of a draw with Ian Cutelaba. Not a ton of shame in that draw, though, because Cutelaba is pretty beastly mixed martial artist, good Greco-Roman background, good striking. I don't think Jacoby will have I mean, you know what? He could run into a little bit of trouble by Stewart because Stewart's a pretty athletic power striker. But I feel like the technical kickboxing abilities of Dustin Jacoby should lead him to victory here. And he also does have a size advantage height-wise. Let's see what the reaches are at. Yeah, he's also got a reach advantage as well. I think controls distance from range. I think potentially a straight punch rocks Darren Stewart, and then Jacoby will follow it up for a finish. I think Jacoby wins this bout KO TKO in the second round. Odds for this one, -181 to +170 for Darren Stewart. Let's look. Jacoby wins by KO TKO, +275 for that. And I do think that's what will happen here. So Jacoby for the win over Darren Stewart. Let's keep on moving up the card. It is Sam Alvey versus Wellington Turman. You have generalist with decent knockout power, but he's old in Alvey. I mean, 35 is not old, but in the MMA game, especially the amount of fights he has, it is old. Other side, Wellington Turman, tricky Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu practitioner coming off 2 KO losses. There's Turman. And then there is smiling Sam Alvey. Interesting how Alvey has definitely looked worse fighting at 185 than he has at 205. I think the weight cut definitely taxes him a bit. I hate to pick, an old guy that's potentially over the hill, big losing streak, but I think Alvey can beat Turman here. I'm going to ride Sam Alvey, ride or die. I think that he'll win here, potentially by a KO TKO. It's +100-ish money for that. Turman is just not a substantial threat, I feel, and I think Alvey has done well against some decent competition. I feel like he can beat Turman here, potentially KO TKO +300, but could see it going 3 rounds and Alvey edging out a potential 29-28 decision. That's definitely possible. Alvey for decision, +315. We're on Team Sam Alvey. Win here, potentially KO TKO or decision, but I like the underdog, Sam Alvey, betting-wise. Next fight. Featured prelim, Abdul, Razak, Alhassan versus Alessio Di Chirico. I want to see Alhassan in this matchup if he's able to, really explode inside and get some big knockout win, but I doubt he does. Di Chirico just put an explosive striker to sleep who was having some success at 185. Razak Alhassan lost to an inexperienced Jacob Makhmud in the last one. 2 straight losses at 170. He now moves up and takes a tough Italian, Alessio Di Chirico, on. I think he probably gets finished under 3 rounds here. I'm thinking KO TKO second round Di Chirico. We'll look at them on the scales, though. There is Abdul Razak Alhassan, who always looks pretty good on the scales, but he's undersized here. I mean, unless he was able to land some big power punch, I don't think it's all that likely. Sure, he does have the power, but he's been really having a hard time connecting it to anybody's chin lately. I don't think Abdul Razak Alhassan wins. I'm going Alessio Di Chirico, KO TKO, round number 2. He's a -230 favorite. Di Chirico, KO TKO, +250. Not a terrible bet. Guy slept Joaquin Buckley with a beautiful head kick in the last one. Granted, it's an MMA fight. Anything can happen. I just still believe we're going to see victory for Di Chirico. Now, let's jump to the main card. Smash that like button. If you guys had not yet, I need at least 85 likes on this one. It's our main card. First fight. It is Gerald Meerschaert versus Makhmud Muradov. This is a showcase fight for the Uzbekistani. Gerald Meerschaert, tricky with his Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, most definitely. His opponent, Makhmud, pretty well-rounded, but slick kickboxing and also mixes in solid wrestling. I think in this fight, though, he'll probably want to use more striking, just eliminate the risk of somehow getting caught by something against Gerald Meerschaert, who's a tricky guy on the ground. Muradov, though, looks in incredible shape. Meerschaert looks good, but he shaved the beard. I think definite loss here. KO. Round number 1 or 2. I said round 2 earlier in the week. I could even see it round 1, but I think round 1 or 2. I think KO TKO Makhmud Muradov. Let's pull up the odds. -556 for Muradov to +540. It's ugly odds. Let's see what we can make. What can we do here? Under 1.5 is -109. Under 2.5, -210. I think that's definitely pretty likely here. I don't see this fight going distance. Inside the distance win, Muradov, -145, best value. Muradov KO TKO, -125. What is Meerschaert wins by a submission at? Plus 1,000 money by Meerschaert submission. Can you imagine you just sprinkle that Hail Mary? It's over at Sportsbet and it hits? That'd be crazy. Don't think it's likely though. KO TKO, Makhmud Muradov, potential parlay addition. Maybe you play the under 2.5 there. Should be an inside the distance fight with a victory for our guy Makhmud Muradov. Next fight, Andrei Petroski and Micheal Gillmore. Give me this matchup quickly. I can't wait for it. This is a fight that's got me excited. I have connection to Petroski from The Ultimate Fighter. I watched him there. Micheal Gillmore, a lot of respect for him taking the fight on short notice. Comes in on the scales looking solid. Adds us Petroski. Both guys pretty muscular frames, but Petroski is a dominant wrestler. Good submission game. He's somebody to like, man. 5-1 as a pro, 30 years old. I'm excited to see where his ceiling really lies at. Not a ton of pro experience, but solid grappler, and I think a fun guy to keep an eye on in this middleweight division. I'm riding Petroski, win by submission, round number 1 over Micheal Gillmore. Odds-wise, it is sitting around minus 600, minus 510. Petroski's a huge favorite. Win by submission for Petroski, plus 110, best value. I think that's worth it. Gillmore's all 4 of his losses, if you include his loss on tough, submission losses. Petroski should get this fight to the mat and look to submit the gentleman Micheal Gillmore. Next fight of the night, Kevin Lee versus Daniel Rodriguez. Probably the hardcore's delight of this matchup to see Lee back in action. If you didn't watch The Ultimate Fighter, for you, this is probably your co-main event because The Ultimate Fighter guys won't have that same connection to you that they would to somebody that did watch it. That's why I really recommend you guys check out The Ultimate Fighter. But Kevin Lee, Daniel Rodriguez, I think that the bigger D-Rod is going to be a problem. Look at them face off here. There's D-Rod, always in good shape. There's Lee looking good as well. Bit of a size difference, but the height looks not extremely different. Definitely could be shoes being worn, maybe with some lifts in there by Lee. But I like Daniel Rodriguez's boxing game from range. Should be able to defend takedowns. He's 34 years old, though, maybe a factor. Granted, Eddie Bravo, black belt. Kevin Lee, 28, lots of time left in his MMA career, but he's already been towards the pinnacle and had some downfalls. Let's see how he turns it around, but up a weight class, I haven't loved Kevin Lee. I think that he's going to end up losing to D-Rod by a close decision here, so I'm going D-Rod. Decision win. The odds, D-Rod, plus 127, Lee, minus 137. Rodriguez wins by a decision, plus 375. That's a decent play. But I would just play him straight as a dog. Some good value there. D-Rod to beat Kevin Lee. Let's jump to our Ultimate Fighter finale matchups. Ricky Turcios versus Brady Heinstand. You have a fantastic grappler in Heinstand. You have Turcios, a tricky Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu practitioner, forward pressure striker, and a lot more pro experience. He beat Ludovic Chaneleon on tough. Really, I feel like had Ludovic as one of those top-of-the-line guys for this show. I think he was expected to do well, and he loses in the semis to Ricky. I think Ricky's too tenacious for Brady. I don't think he'll be able to handle that pace for 3 rounds. He definitely can have moments. I think win by a decision for Ricky Turcios over Brady Heinstand, and I do expect this fight to be a banger as well. Let's see them face off. Heinstand looks in incredible shape. Turcios as well. There's the face-off. This is exciting, man. For 22, I got to say, the musculature development, Heinstand, he's a beast. He really is. I feel like this is Turcios' time, though. He's paid his dues, and I think he'll win this fight by a decision. Turcios to win by a decision, plus 173. Heinstand, plus 285. What's Heinstand win by TKO? Plus 800. Wow. I think Turcios, though, will get this W here. And I do think it goes distance, though. I think we're looking at 3 rounds. Over 1.5 is minus 325. That's a lock. I like that one. I like the over 1.5 a lot here. Win, Ricky Turcios. But it's a damn good fight. It's a hard one. Co-main, Brian Battle, Gilbert Urbina. It was supposed to be Trayshawn Gore. But Urbina, good test for Brian Battle. It's a good step in the right direction. Urbina was, I guess a family legacy of Ultimate Fighter vets. I've watched all of his brothers compete, and he has actually made it to the finals. Crazy. He has a chance to win the show here, but I don't think he beats Brian Battle. I think he gets close. I think that he goes the distance. I think he's a real tough kickboxer with nasty grappling. I think Gilbert Urbina has a UFC future, as does Brian Battle. I think Brian Battle just edges him out on a close decision to win the Ultimate Fighter's first ever season now in this new decade of 2020. I think Brian Battle has a future in the UFC. It's going to last a long time. I think Urbina will as well. I think this is almost like, for me, like bringing it back to Tough 1. The return of Tough really brought some different style and nostalgia, though. It's not the same as it used to be. It's really more fight and fighter focused rather than beef bullshit focused. But Brian Battle, tricky grappling, solid forward pressure striking. Let's look at them face off. Both in good shape. I'm riding Brian Battle to win. Decision. He's going to beat Gilbert Urbina. He is a minus 164 favorite to Urbina, plus 164 underdog. I like fight over 1.5 a lot, over 2.5. I think we're going 3. I think it's decision. Could we see a submission for Battle? It's possible. Urbina, though, good grappler, tricky guy to tap. And I don't think Battle's going to KO him. So that's why I'm liking Battle wins by a decision, plus 300. That would be the potential player right there. Should be a sweet co-main event. If you haven't watched The Ultimate Fighter, you have a day to binge watch it. So binge watch the shit out of it. At least watch the fights, because there were some damn good ones. And it's a season that I really feel like we have a lot of future long-term UFC staples on. But it is main event time. If you haven't yet, smash the hell out of the like button. I need at least 85 likes, guys. Smash, smash, smash. Much love. Subscribe if you guys are new here too. And let's talk about it. Edson Barboza, technical mixed martial arts, kickboxing, knockout power versus Giga Chikadze, professional kickboxing background, absolute savage at this point. He's destroying his competition, but has paid his dues for sure. He had to work his way to this point. Hasn't been training mixed martial arts, nearly as long as Edson Barboza. Barboza is the essence of great mixed martial arts Muay Thai style striking. Amazing kicks, the best low kicks in the game. He's shown a new level at featherweight, though. And look at the other side. Giga Chikadze is a finishable, what would the word be? He's got a high finish rate as of late, and he's a tricky southpaw, nasty kicks to the body. Took out Cub Swanson in the last one. He moves extremely well. This is a very tricky fight for Edson Barboza. Can he sit in there and mix it up with Chikadze for 5 rounds? Does he have the conditioning? I feel as though he potentially will. I think this is an extremely hard fight for him, and that's why the odds are so close. But I'm really feeling like we're on Edson decision. We'll look at them face off. There is Giga Chikadze. There's a shredded Edson Barboza, both in the face, both in incredible shape. I think Edson Barboza is going to win this fight here, guys, and continue his move towards the top of the featherweight division. Edson Barboza win by a decision. Should be a very exciting fight. I honestly cannot wait for it. Who knows? We could also see a finish for Barboza. He's shown real knockout power at 145. Let's see. Props wise, minus 116, Barboza, Chikadze, plus 108. If you want to maybe play some decent ones, over 2.5, minus 200, I think that's decently likely here. Barboza wins by KO TKO, plus 260. Barboza wins by decision, plus 350. Interesting. Chikadze, KO TKO, plus 245. Interesting. It's less. The money is less for Chikadze KO TKO, even though he's a dog. But odds are very close. Definitely over 1.5 is a lock here. I think over 2.5 is highly likely. And I personally think we're going 5 in this one. And I think it'll be a damn good one. Sweet main event. We are riding Edson Barboza. I appreciate you guys all tuning in. And now you know what time it is. It is parlay time. We got to talk some parlays. We have to. I have to send you guys off properly. All right. UFC parlays to play. We are going to parlay up Andrei Petroski and Makhmud Muradov. Our whole game is really leaning heavy on them. This is a good parlay. Jacoby, Muradov, Petroski. Take this one off. You don't like it. I think if the over-unders are available at your bookie site, can nearly lock it up with the over 1.5. I think that's highly likely. But if you don't want to play it, I don't blame you, because that's a riskier one. I don't want to play the Brady one. Petroski. I like Petroski a lot. Do I want to put Petroski by inside the distance? No, I don't think you can parlay that up on most bookie sites, actually. So ignore that. Who do I want to add in? So definitely possible third leg would be Jacoby if you want a strong favorite. If you want an underdog, maybe you go Daniel Rodriguez plus 207. You want some Ultimate Fighter action, give me Brian Battle for plus 120. If you're feeling real confident, you go Battle and you add in Jacoby plus 233. That's high likelihood right there. Mana missing weight, it's not necessarily that he dropped my confidence in him, but I'm just not loving the idea of playing that one. Let's see, though. If we could get an over 1.5 there, it won't give us great value, but it'd give us a little something if you also put over 1.5 in the Emmers and Sabatini fight, plus 316. That would be really more of like a long shot play, but I really feel like it could hit. Petroski, Battle, Muradov, Jacoby, and if you want an underdog, you add in D-Rod, plus 124, 645. Lots of potential plays to be made. I'm staying away from the women's fight on this card. I think it would be highly risky. I'm not touching Sam Alvey even as a dog unless maybe a day of KO TKO sprinkle, but plus 116 for a guy that hasn't looked great in a while. Personally not loving it. Chirico, another strong confidence play, plus 969 if you did add him in there, but that's really getting crazy. Just some parlay ideas for you guys. Be cautious with your bets, but there's definitely money to be made. I hope you guys enjoyed this full card prediction, betting breakdown, and weigh-in recap for UFC Vegas 35, Barboza versus Chikadze. Smash the hell out of that like button. I need at least 85 likes on this weigh-in recap. Much love to all my people tuning in, and I will see you all in the next video.